Live auction draft. First one of the 2026 fantasy football season here on the Fantasy Savvy channel. Appreciate all the listeners. Yeah, we're going to bring up the board in a minute. So no breaks here. You know, this is every pick you got to pay attention to. Auctions are crazy. I think auctions are the most underrated way to do a draft in fantasy football. So we're going to get into the strategies. You'll see how this team is being built tonight. And if you guys are, seasoned auction drafters, or if this is your first time, whatever it is, you'll get a good idea of how this all works. So we'll come back on the other side. The auction's about to start in a minute, and we'll get right into it. Here we go. Follow me on X below. And if you guys can give me a subscribe, but whatever you want to do, you can just watch along if you want to. So here we go. Big time NFFC auction draft. Okay, we are live here. So the first two things that people call out are defenses. We got the Chargers defense going for $1, and the Patriots defense going for $1. The rest of the room obliged and didn't bid them up to $2 or $3. And they, sometimes you catch people sleeping early in these auctions, and you call out a little defense. You get them for a nice cheap price, and you get it over with. This way, you don't have to wait 14 years at the end of the draft, the end of the auction, when you're on Dollar Derby. And you got to wait the whole board to go around. You bid $1 and then somebody else bids $2, then you got to wait. You only have $1 left, and everybody else, then you got to wait for the whole freaking thing to come around again. So there goes Bucky Irving for 21. Interesting. So Bucky Irving, definitely a nice value this year. After going in the second round last year, you can get him in the 6th round of regular snake draft here in the NFFC, obviously with the 3rd round reversal. But I've been thinking about taking a little bit more Bucky because I've always been on Bucky. But, I don't need to spend $21 on him right now. So here comes Amon-Ra St. Brown. As consistent as they can possibly come. And the good thing about the NFFC here is they make it nice and easy for you. They put the average auction value right in front of your face. And I'll show that to you guys here. So we'll switch back and forth between the board here. You can see the bids are, going up. This is a great auction room that they have. Shout out to Greg and the rest of the NFFC crew for putting this together and their tech team. Been doing this for quite a few years now, and very, very solid. So they have a couple, different auction. They have this online auction championship, and then they have some confined auction tournaments that you can do as well. For a little bit more money, but this one's $150 to get in, a $15,000 grand prize. Again, you got to finish. I believe it's top 2. I'm just going to bid on Chase here. Let's see what he goes for. Sometimes when you call out these guys early, people don't know what spends. They're a little skittish. I'm going to get aggressive on Chase here, though. And I get them for $57. All right. So we're off the board already. And I would just say, get aggressive early, spend your money early. Don't sit back, wait to spend your money. Just spend it, get aggressive. That's my approach anyway. But yeah, NFFC does a hell of a job with this, with the draft room. I think Greg's voice is actually on here as well. We'll see if we could get the sound effects on there. They got the little buzzer there, but I don't know how much that does. All right, let's cross that off. All right. Now we got Puka. Puka, a little bit of off-season concerns. There is a possible suspension.
Going once.
There goes Greg's voice.
Going twice. Sold.
If you guys can hear
You
it through
are
the
on
mic,
deck.
I don't know. But yeah, Puka, possible suspension looming. We just saw
Going once.
the defensive end for the Falcons just got an 8-game suspension. He played tonight in the preseason, and we'll try to talk a little bit about these preseason games. But the problem is when you're in an auction, you can't miss one pick. I mean, you got to pay attention a little bit. We're going to take a little bit of 5-minute break after round 10. Says Jeff, who is monitoring the board tonight. So maybe when we get to that break, we'll go over some of these, the preseason action from tonight. Last night, we saw some good things from Jeremiah Love.
Going once.
We saw some good things
Going
from Stribling.
twice. Sold.
All right, now I'm up to call
You
somebody
are
out.
up.
So I'm not going to go after JSN. So I'm just going to get some money out here. Let's just let the money fly out. Get some bucks out there.
Going
Puka
once.
goes for 55. I get Chase for 57. So,
Going once.
Chase is a pick ahead. I gotta knock this buzzer off. This is annoying. I do like Greg's voice though, but this buzzer is kind of annoying. Just go with the clink, I guess. Maybe the clink
Going once.
a little bit better.
Going twice.
But anyway, like I was saying, this is annoying too. All right, let's just shut her off.
Going once.
For show purposes. Anyway. But yeah, $2, Chase going one spot ahead of Puka. JSN going in that, 5, 6, 7 range. Let's see what he ends up here. Let's see if he gets bid up a little bit more. Looks like he's going to settle in just around $49. Okay. Pretty solid. Again, the AAV, they show it right here, as you can see, for each player. So, when people see that, they're like, oh, they kind of, maybe they're going to stay to that number. It's kind of like it's kind of cool when you were in the old school auctions with none of the AAVs and you just, people just wild at me. And sometimes you'd see I remember LT and Priest Holmes going for $70-$75 sometimes. It's absolutely crazy. Look at Christian McCaffrey going for $40. So obviously the injury concerns coming off, 10,000 touches the previous 2 times he came over, went over 400 touches. He missed, he got hurt the next season. So there is some risk. We're going to go after Allen here. Let's see how much he goes for. I'll go 20. All right, I'll go 21. That stops for me though. All right, Allen's going up. I'm not going to get him in this draft. He's flying in this draft. I thought maybe I can get him for 20. That's okay. We'll get some cheap quarterbacks. It'll save us a little bit of money. Later on. There goes Viking kicker for $1. Nice and easy. Easy peasy. All right, let's go back to the draft board. $11 guys off the board already. I don't know if you guys like to see the bids go up or if you like to see the board fill. I don't know what view you like better. You let me know. Shador Sanders for $1. Okay. Here comes Niners kicker. So, guys, if you're new to the channel, we do a lot of these live drafts. This is our first auction of the year. We've been doing a lot of NFFC drafts so far. Here comes Jahmyr Gibbs. Going for 46. $50, $51, $52. And again, Gibbs is the consensus number one this year. Sometimes Bijan goes ahead of him. I'm just wondering if I can get Bijan maybe a couple of dollars cheaper here. And Bijan's actually, average is 56. Gibbs is already at 56. So yeah, there you go. Jahmyr Gibbs for 56. As you can see, let's go back to this tab again. Top number is the amount of money each team has. The bottom number is their max bid, depending on how many roster spots they still need to fill. In the NFFC, you have a quarterback, a running back, 3 receivers, a tight end, a kicker, and a defense, and a flex, and then you have 10 bench spots. So there's different ways you can build in auctions. You can do what they call stars and scrubs. You can build a more balanced approach. I kind of like the stars and scrubs approach. Give me three studs that you can't get in a regular snake draft, and then I'll just kind of figure it out from there. That's kind of what I like to do. Could be risky because you get an injury. Then you got to hit on some of those scrubs that you're taking. But I don't know. That's just my approach. I feel like, and sometimes I'll build a little bit more of a balanced team depending on how the drafts are going. But I think my preferred option is to go stars and scrubs and build those teams that you can never have in a redraft format. And that's the specialty. That's the thing you like about auctions. Drake London going for 36. Here comes CeeDee Lamb. His average auction value is 42, as you can see there. So I think what we'll do is we'll fluctuate between the board and these auction values and the live auction. This way you guys can kind of see the bids, and then we'll look at some of the teams and we'll kind of bop back and forth. But anyway, yeah, back to the channel. So lots of live drafts, NFFC. We did a couple FFPCs already. We've been doing division breakdowns. You can check those out. We only have the AFC East and NFC East left to do. We're going to do some more FFPC, RT Sports, obviously NFFC. Some more best balls. We got about, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks to the season. So it's getting close. I don't know how much time left. So we'll try to knock out as many live shows as possible. Obviously, we get, this is the time. This is the time to pump out these live shows. And then during the year, we will be doing, breakdowns, weekly recaps, weekly previews, NFL picks, DFS. And then, we do some March Madness once that hits, an NBA. I think we're going to do a couple of NBA drafts as well. There goes AJ Brown for $39. So far for us, just Jamar Chase. And here we go. Let's see how much Bijan's going to go for here. Again, Gibbs went for 56. Bijan goes for 58. I'm not going to hate on it. All right, so we bid 55. And we're going to get him. All right, so we have Jamar Chase and Bijan Robinson. Again, that's something you cannot do in a traditional draft. Now, I have $88 left, $71 max bid. So now it all depends on how I could fill out this team. Be right back. Okay, Zay Flowers for 27. So $30 cheaper than Jamar Chase. Hey, I mean, Zay Flowers is a second round pick. Jamar Chase is a top 3 pick. Jamar Chase is an absolute stud. But oh shit. I'm on auto nominate, but Justin Jefferson's fine. The good thing about Jamar Chase is if Burrow gets hurt, we already saw what Joe Flacco can do in the backup role. So that's some good insurance there. Whereas if Lamar Jackson goes down, which he has a ton of times, who the heck's backing him up? I forget who their backup is. It's been like Cooper Rush, been Tyler Huntley. This year it's going to be Tyler Huntley again. So Tyler Huntley's not bad. He's serviceable, but obviously Zay Flowers' numbers are going to decrease if Tyler Huntley has to come in there at some point. So that's why I'm saying, like, you get a little bit more security with the Bengals. Obviously if you're going to go for the Burrow stack, which is still in the cards for me, the problem is Burrow always gets hurt. So it's a little bit more risky. Where I feel like if you take Chase or Higgins, at least you have Flacco to kind of help support them. But if Joey Burrow stays healthy, he's got that 50 touchdown potential. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to go after Burrow and get a stack. Obviously it makes sense here, but and his AAV is only $11, which is not bad at all. And I could always back him up with another quarterback. And traditionally when you get Jamar Chase, you do kind of want to go for that stack. So that's something I'm going to look into. So, auctions are going to last a little bit longer than your traditional snake draft. They're going to go 2 hours or more. I mean, I remember doing live auctions with no time clock. Back in the day before it was online, and some of those would take like 3-4 hours. Doing baseball drafts take like 5 hours. Live baseball auctions, they just take forever. So everything's automated. We're online, and everything just flies off. Let me just share this with the boys in the chat tonight. So if they want to tune in later, I'm going to analyze some of the teams. This way they could check it out. I got a lot of names I haven't really seen in here, which is good. There goes Lamar Jackson for $9. Very nice. Parker Washington for 20. Justin Jefferson for 41. Here comes Trey McBride. Again, I got to be conservative here because I spent half my money on 2 players. But we do want to try and get one more stud. I was going to try to get Allen, which would have kind of been my 3rd stud. And it's a more affordable stud because, obviously, Allen's just as consistent as they come at quarterback, and he's a QB1 every year. So that's kind of why I like to pair Allen in auctions with 2 other studs, and you just kind of know what you're going to get. And then, you just take your shots on guys you believe in, some sleepers, a bunch of sleepers. You can spend a little bit of money you got for like maybe 1 or 2 more guys, but then after that, you got to be real cheap. And it's kind of a boring way to do an auction. I mean, in the beginning it's exciting, but then at the end it gets boring because you only have dollars left. And you're sitting there forever, no money left, dollar, and you got to go. You can only bid $1, so you can't bid more. So if somebody calls out a player, that's the most you could bid. Trey McBride for $25. I will put this repeat of the Falcons-Broncos game on. So Jonah Coleman have a couple carries, look pretty good. Pat Bryant caught a couple early passes, I think. Zachariah Branch was catching some passes. A lot of short stuff. Here comes Genty. For 41. $14 cheaper than Bijan. Mike Washington looked great last night. And again, I think there's going to be a little bit of it might be a little bit of 1-2 punch there. Maybe a little bit more than most are expecting because of Kubiak's history, especially last year. And the fact that Mike Washington I think he's a pretty good prospect. He's got great size, he's got great speed. And, I think when Genty's out there punishing the defense with the way he runs, you bring in Mike Washington, fresh legs, defense a little bit worn down. It just seems like a nice little 1-2 punch. And then you have Genty going out there and saying, they have nicknames. So, it was like, what was it? Like Tiki and Brandon Jacobs had that nickname back in the day. It's whatever, a little bit, Jacobs is, kind of a unique back. But I'm just saying, like they have the little nickname, Thunder and Lightning, whatever it was. So that's what Genty was talking about. So it does sound like Washington's might have a little bit of a role in this offense. Again, running backs are very deceiving in the preseason. I mean, how many times have we seen Julius Chestnut, Tyler Batty? I'm trying to think of some other preseason running back superstars. There have been so many. Mike Jones. Who was that? What was that one running back? Mike Jones. I forget what his name is. But I mean, he was like awesome something Jones or Mike Jones. I don't know. I forget his name. But he was a stud every preseason. So I don't know. It's just it's like these preseason running backs can be very, very deceiving. So, you can't get too giddy about the way running backs look in the preseason. It seems like that position is maybe one of the more deceiving, but I just think Washington's skill set kind of does fit. And body type really does fit the NFL. Maybe not in a full-time role, but as a secondary, role there, I think it's pretty solid. Nice value on Saquon there, $34. Chase Brown for 45. Jacksonville kicker. See, so these guys are sneaking in kickers. I feel like, yeah, give them for $2. Let me sneak that in real quick. Maybe I'll try to throw in Dicker the kicker for $1 on my next bid. I was looking at Dicker the kicker's schedule down the stretch is like all beautiful weather games. So I think there was one game with the Chiefs, but I think that's at home too. So good kicker, nice schedule. Here comes Jimmy Cook. See how much he goes for. Jimmy going for 41. Nice little value there. I mean, I could have thrown Jimmy on my team right there. Kind of figured it out, and had 3 first-round picks. See, again, that's the thing you could do in auctions. Some people aren't willing to do that. They get kind of nervous. Oh, what am I going to do? I don't have much money left. I think that's the way you win in these auctions. You get 3 studs, something you can't do in a traditional draft. If all 3 stay healthy, and you hit on, you got to hit on some of those other picks, of course. But you got the free agency to play with. You can make moves during the season. So I really feel like that's the way you got to do it if you can. Yeah, and redraft makes it easier. I play in an auction, which is a keeper league, and you can keep like 7 guys. So it makes it a little bit harder because there's only so many guys you can go after. I'm going to throw out Hampton because I'm not into Hampton totally this year for where he's going in redraft anyway. But he might be a decent value in auctions, but I still don't think I want to spend up for him. And we got our boy Jamie in the chat saying, "My dude, what up, Steve?" Jamie, it's good to see you, man. I saw you pop in the other night. Hope all is well over there, man. How the dynasty team's looking, Jamie? Man, give us some of your top picks this year for the rookie class. Like, who you're really excited about to really pop off this year. Jamie is a huge dynasty guy, has really good insights on the rookies. So I'm interested to see who Jamie is in on this year from the rookie class. That not just for dynasty purposes, but more for redraft purposes. That he thinks that could go off this year. Should I? Oh, geez. Should I go in on T here? No, I'm gonna lay off. Jamie says he's been crazy busy this off season. Yeah, I mean that's a good thing. If you're busy with work, it's a good thing, man. But I feel you. Sometimes it sucks because you want to dive back to the fantasy football streets, but sometimes it makes you feel. Come out, you're busy, and then you get back into the fantasy football. It feels like a nice refresh, a nice break to get. So, but yeah, man, let us know who you think as far as the rookie classes here. Who you think could really pop off? Travis Etienne, kind of getting poo-pooed on once again a little bit. Nice little value. Last year was a good value. Had a great season with with the Bucks, the Jags. I'm thinking about these Florida teams. Now he's in New Orleans. Doesn't travel too far. This guy's been in the Southeast his whole life. Clemson, Jacksonville. Now he's in New Orleans. So he's a Southeast guy through and through. And, I'm not too worried about Kamara. I think Kamara is going to get some, catch some passes, but I think Etienne's going to be the main ball carrier. And, some concerns about Jordan Tyson. I mean, that's concerning. Another hamstring injury for him. But you still got Olave. You got Vele, who I think could step up. Juwan Johnson's a nice tight end. I think Kellen Moore, offense, obviously, is going to be able to move the ball. And they were pretty nice last year, even without Tyson. So, and Shaheed was gone. So I think it could work. Travis Etienne for $19. Not bad, not bad. So I got to kind of pick which third guy I'm going to go after here. So, I have Bijan, and I'm going to show you guys the board right now. I have Bijan here and Chase. And again, $88, $71 max bid. I got to kind of pick what third guy I'm going to go after here. Team 12, Josh Allen, Bucky, St. Brown, Nakua. Look at this team. Team 12, I like a lot. I like what he did. He gets the stud quarterback. Again, I was going to bid up for Allen. He bid up. So I agree with his strategy there. I was kind of thinking maybe I can get Allen for 2021. Whatever. At the end of the day, a lot of these teams have money left over anyway. And you're bidding up maybe a little bit more on a player, just to get rid of that money at some of these drafts. So yeah, I don't mind the 23 on Allen. Bucky 21, I'm not totally crazy about, but again, I think Bucky's being underrated this year. Bucky's a guy that I loved in his rookie season. Last year was tough. He was hurt, but every game, and the offensive line was banged up, but he still put up good numbers when he was out there until the end when he was being replaced by Sean Tucker at the goal line, which was killing his value. But, we saw Tucker out there today in the preseason, and, that kind of goes to show me a little bit that they're going to try to feature Bucky and Gainwell. You do get a little bit worried about Gainwell. Gainwell could take away a lot of passing from Bucky, which could hurt Bucky too. But I still feel like for where you could get Bucky this year, it's pretty solid. And then he gets Amon-Ra and Puka, and then he gets McBride. So, I mean, it's perfect. I mean, I don't know if he had to do Shedeur for $1. But again, he's getting his guys. And maybe he likes Shedeur to take that job. So why not? You know? Yeah, I think he has a really good start there, Team 12. Very solid. Here comes Achane for 31. I believe Achane scored a touchdown tonight. I think Malik Willis threw him a touchdown, or I think Achane ran one in. Not a bad value there either. All right, so I got to make a decision here on what do I want to spend here? What player do I want to go after? What quarterback do I want to go after? You know, I got to get a little bit decisive here. I like what Team 6 did. Taylor, Barkley, Jefferson, Higgins. You know, 4 really solid. Team 5 with McCaffrey, Zay is a nice combo. Team 4, Cook, Pickens, JSN is a nice threesome there. Team 1, we'll see what he does with Gibbs. He may have waited a little too long, but there's still some players, some studs out there he can get. And then Achane, London Lamb is a nice combo too. So obviously, these guys, when you're in auctions, you obviously have a lot of experience in auctions. I'm sure a lot of these guys are adding multiple teams in this format. There goes Kenny Walker for 39. They may just play auctions. They may not be playing a lot of the OCs, the prime times, or the best balls. Like, this is their thing. Auctions is their thing, So, it's kind of a whole different skill set in auctions. And you got to be confident. You can't be, waiting to spend money. You don't want to have money left over. You want to be aggressive. And again, I think what you want to do in auctions is you want to build teams that you can get here that you can't get in redraft. If you're just going to build a team that you can get in redraft, and I think you're kind of missing the advantage of an auction. We'll get to Jamie's picks in a minute for this year. Brock Bowers goes for 33. I got to make the right decision here on the third player that I'm going to spend a little bit chunk on. Let me just look through this player list. Get a guy that I really believe in here. There's one here. Oh shit. I don't think anybody's watching this anyway, so I never even shared this in the chat yet. But whatever, it doesn't even matter, because even if I put a guy in my queue at this point, they still got a bid more than me. So it's still, it is what it is. There goes Jeremiah Love, looking pretty nice last night. Again, ran through some big holes, but he was trying a lot. He made a nice little jump cut on one of those runs. He's making spin moves. I think he hurt his ankle a little bit. Got like 13, 14 carries. Might have been a little too much. And he seemed like he was going all out. He was ready to showcase his stuff last night for sure. Jamie, your thoughts on Jeremiah Love going in like second, third, fourth rounds in drafts? What do you think about that? And I saw your comments. I'm going to talk about that in a sec, man. Let me just get a little window here where I could get comfortable. Let's call out Nico. So Jamie says, my favorite value in redraft is Jeremy Bernard in the 18th round because of his versatility in the McCarthy offense. And if Pittman or Metcalf misses time, his ceiling increases. I think I had 35. I love it, Jamie. I wasn't even really thinking about Jeremy Bernard. Then I was watching him a little bit last night, and I like and he's like jacked up. Then I was watching a video of him, and he's talking about all these like, fresh juices he's making and everything. Like, this kid is drinking juice at like, what is he, 21 years old? Like, he's taking good care of his body. So, man, I really like that call. And I'm going to take a little bit more of a deep dive on Jeremy Bernard. So I like that. And then his other pick here has been grabbing tons of Ted Hurst in Dynasty in the late second sometimes, or sometimes early third. I like his big field, downfield ability and his red zone TD upside. I called him the mini Mike Evans. Another good call, Ted Hurst. Wow, nice run by. Is that Jonah Coleman? Nice little run by Jonah Coleman. Rewatching the Broncos game here. But yeah, Ted Hurst ran a beautiful route today at the goal line. There goes Jalen Waddle is up. I'm going to go back to this screen so you guys can see who's being bid on. But he ran a beautiful route. The quarterback kind of threw it behind him, and he had a nice little game tonight too. So, yeah, I think it might take an injury for him. But again, Ibuka's already kind of a little bit banged up. Godwin can never really truly stay healthy. McMillan's got some injuries. So I think Hurst is another guy I got to start going after too in some of these redrafts as well. He's another guy I got to look a little bit further into. Radon was my favorite player to take, the mid to late third. Also got him in some fourth. What do you think about Radon? Do you think I heard a report that he may take a step up over Hunter Henry a little bit this year? So Notre Dame guy, another guy I got to look a little bit more into. Says I've been taking Carnell Tate a lot in the mid to late fifth round of best balls. Think he'd be a top 15 receiver. I like Tate. I think he's going to have a better career than McMillan. I get a little bit worried about all this talk about the Titans' offensive line. It's supposed to be one of the worst in the league, which is not good. And also Cam Ward, I expect him to play better. I know he made some stupid plays like yesterday in the preseason game, but yeah, I like Carnell Tate, especially for where he's going. I think he's a nice value. And Jamie finally says, I'm out on Jeremiah Love this year because he's going second, late second, early third. Give me Brees all over him. Yeah, what about the fourth round? Because he does go in the fourth sometimes. But I agree with you. Second, third's too pricey for me. But I think I don't mind him in the fourth. But I think after last night, he's probably going to sit more in the second, third again. But awesome takes from Jamie there. We'll look to get on a draft. Jamie, if you join the show again one of these nights, we'll maybe a best ball or something. We'll get you to hop on and we'll get you to talk about these prospects a little bit more, man. Appreciate you jumping in tonight. You're the man. All right, so we get Nico for 33, Waddle for 30, Colston Loveland for 24, Devonta 29. Again, before all these studs kind of fly away, I got to pick my spot here with a guy. And, I got a couple of guys that I want to go after here, so I think I'll be all right. But I also got to work, I got to build some depth too. So this is the concern when you start the way I started. Yes, obviously I have two studs, absolute monsters, which kind of, the foundation is built. But now I just got to, put the furniture in there and put the rest of the design and make sure I have a nice, strong roof on the house. So there's no leaks, and then I'll be good to go. And there goes Jonah. For $3. So we're taking a break. I think the commission said after around 10. During that time, I'll put a little music on, go get a drink, go to the bathroom, and we'll come back and we'll refocus. So we are in round 5 right now. Rashee Rice, 25. It's interesting with Rashee Rice because I do think that he's got the advantage. He's got the most chemistry with Mahomes. He's got the role. He's done well in that role. I'm just wondering, with Kenneth Walker there now, does Jalen Royals get a little bit more of a step up this year? I think they could be gadgety with Cyrus Allen. I think Cyrus Allen could be in the mix on offense. If Worthy can stay healthy, does Mahomes is Mahomes have to force feed? And Drake made a nice value there for $9. Does he have to force feed Rice as much as he has in the past? I mean, the receiver room's not great, but I kind of liked Royals. I like what I've seen of Cyrus Allen, so maybe it's a little underrated. Tyquan Thornton, he's not bad either. And then if Worthy could stay healthy, it could get a little tricky maybe for Rice. So I don't know. I feel like I want to be in on Rice, but I don't know if I trust him. I don't know. Not all the way there. There goes Ibuka. He's going to fly up. I'm not going to go after him. Jamie says Justin Jolly, Denver tight end, is interesting. Possibly finally be the Joker like Jimmy Graham and Sean Payton offense. I have him in the 8th round. If I have Nick's best ball. Yeah, and Evan Ingram's still there. And his boy Adam Trautman. I think that's a dynasty play. But you like him. I'm going to take another deep dive into him as well. I've been a little bit behind on some of these prospects like Jolie. So I know I need to, before the season starts, I'm going to get caught up on all these guys for sure. And then, I'm going to do most of my main drafts as we get closer to the season. So I'll be prepared. Jamie says I'll hop on at any time with you. Here comes Breece Hall. Man, the Jets. I love Breece. I don't know if I want to spend money on him in an auction, but in a redraft, I think I like him a little better, especially the way I built this team. Sports Affiliation says Auction League, let's go. Shout out to the affiliation team over there, doing a hell of a job with a bunch of great shows. Jamie says, I have an interview at the end of August to join the FSAN Fantasy Sports Advice Network. Well, good luck with that, man. I hope you get it. I hope I'm praying for you that you land that spot. That would be absolutely awesome. Have you heard any of the fantasy football music I created? I'll send some samples to you. No, send it over to me, man. I know you were sending me some stuff last year. But I don't think that was fantasy football related. So send it over to me, man. And then Dinesh says, my friend offered me CD, Ladd, and Carnell for Achane and Pickens in a fantasy PPR 10 team. I have Jonathan and K9. You offered me CD, Ladd, and Carnell for Achane and Pickens. And he has Jonathan and K9. So he's got 2 strong running backs. He'd be giving up Achane and Pickens. So CD Pickens even. And then you're getting Ladd and Carnell basically for Achane. Ladd's like a 3rd round pick. Achane's a 2nd round pick. I'm watching these guys getting bid up. So I'll jump in at any point if I get interested here. Yeah, I mean, consider you have Jonathan K9. I don't mind it. I think you're getting that extra player there, man. I mean, it could go either way. It could work out for you, could not work out for you. Like Carnell busts, then I don't really like it. But I think you could do it, man. If you're into it, I'm into it. Like I said, you're getting the extra player there. So I think Pickens could, be the number 1 over CD, but, CD, I think until proven further, is the number 1 guy. And then again, you're getting Ladd and Carnell for Achane. So, and you have 2 strong running backs. What's the rest of your backfield? Jamie says, give me the CD and Ladd side. All right, let's get back into this auction. Let's see how much Watson goes for. I am into Watson. Bid 22. 23 for Wojnarowski. All right, let him go. It's fine. Dinesh, shout out to you, man. I think you said you subbed last night. Maybe forgot, but I appreciate you, bro. Random death player. Let me know the backs you have, man. But I don't mind it. I think that trade could work for you. But just let me know the rest of the running backs you have. Because it is a 10-team league, so there's probably a lot of good names there that you could pick up during the year too. So, okay, here comes Malik Neighbors. His average auction value is showing 26 here, and look, he's already at 32. So people are getting excited about Malik, the last of the tier here. Malik obviously has the upside to be the number one receiver in the league. He has that kind of talent. I would say, I don't know, obviously he's coming over a major injury, but before the injury, quite possibly the best acceleration I've seen from any receiver in the league. All right, what quarterbacks? So again, I think the Burrow stack is going to be in play for me. Here, could I get cheaper at the quarterback position? Yeah, but again, this is going to be a tournament. The top two teams are going to make the shootout in this league. For the league, the top four make the playoffs. But only the top two at the end of the regular season will make the shootout. I've actually had a team here where I won the league in the playoffs and I didn't make the shootout. And my team was sick that year. It was 2 years ago. I had Allen. I had a couple of nasty running backs. I think it was like Gibbs and Saquon. And then I had Vlad and Brian Thomas for like a combined $12 in their rookie years. My team went off. Like I would have finished like top 5 in the whole thing if I would have made the shootout. But I won my league, but I didn't make the shootout because by the end of the season I wasn't top 2 in points or record. So, but again, you're playing for the shootout here, so you want to have these stacks. I don't technically need it, so maybe I'll try to get Burrow for like $10. Tet for 24, Evans for 17, CJ Stroud. I'm going to share this with the. Oh, shit. I got to go after JMO here. Want me some JMO. See how much he goes for. These average auction values aren't adding up here in this draft. Okay. We got the all SEC receiving room here with Chase and Jameson Williams, LSU and Bama. A lot of explosion on this team right now. That's what I like. I like I like explosives. I have $67, $51 left. Ramondre. Let me share this now with the chat. So I don't know if I should have shared it with them, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Oh man. So there I was thinking. Sorry, my bad. So there I was thinking. Thanks for the question, man. I'm in a keeper league. I'm keeping Loveland for 5 and Luther Burden for 5. Sweet. That's absolutely beautiful. Burden, maybe out a month, whatever, with the groin, but that's an absolute great keeper value, man. So shout out to you. Jamie says, I've been grabbing tons of Rashad White as my RB4 this year, ADP RB38 through 40, but I can see him putting up top 24 weeks. I'm not into Rashad White, Jamie, but I think Rashad White has, he finds himself in another backfield that is unproven. And, he has the history with Jaden Daniels. And, he could be a nice value. So RB4, I think it's pretty solid. I haven't been clicking on him in redraft, but is JCM or Katron Allen going to take a step above? They got Jerome Ford there too. I feel like it's possible JCM or maybe Katron Allen could do something, but more than likely Rashad's going to have a good hold in that job. And Jamie says Rashad was a top 10 running back a couple of years ago. Yeah, because he caught a ton of balls. But Diggs is there now. Chig, Terry. So I don't think he's going to be catching as many passes as he's done in the past. He's not the best runner. Jaleel McLaughlin running in touchdowns. Again, these running backs in the preseason are so deceiving. They all look like freaking Reggie Bush in USC in the preseason. Jamie says, "Hey, bro, did I tell you that was when I first saw that, man? Congrats, bro. That's awesome. Looking forward to see you on the rankings. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. I got to get a little bit better at doing my ranks a little bit earlier in the week. I find myself a lot last minute putting my rankings in. Definitely burns you a little bit, but it is exciting when you put your rankings in, and you're always curious to see where you come out for the week. So that's awesome, man. Congrats on that. It's absolutely great. All right. Damn, DJ Moore going for 22. I don't know if I could afford it. I'm going to have to pass on DJ Moore here. Got to save some bucks. Last few bids. Oh, I was talking about Dicker the Kicker for $1. I totally forgot about it. I keep getting auto nominated because I'm talking over here trying to build some content with this show. And he goes for $1. And again, I like Dicker the Kicker's schedule. Bunch of sunny games he gets, good weather games. Obviously playing in LA already, but the rest of the games, playing the NFC West helps too. But no Seattle games, which is good. Down the stretch there. Darian Price. $10. All right, give him me for $10. There's a lot of good backs left. Brooks, Swift, Cam, Montgomery, Corum, Pollard. Yeah. Price's average is $13. I think the one risk with Price is if Charbonnet comes back at some point, You know, they love Charbonnet. I mean, we saw it last year. I mean, Kenneth Walker by far and away is the better talent. It's just that, you know, Charbonnet is just good at what he does. He runs north south. He's a good pass protector, and the coaches trust him. So if he comes back at some point, you know, he's going to hurt Price unless Price just comes out right away and absolutely smashes the world. But you know, he's not going to be better than Kenny Walker. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to match Kenny Walker. So Charbonnet, if he comes back healthy, he's going to have a role, and that's going to hurt Price down the stretch when you're going into the fantasy playoffs. So I think that's the one thing that does hurt Darian Price. You know, and his little bit of a weakness, I think, in college too was pass protection. So Falcons got their ass kicked by the Broncos in the preseason tonight. Pick six. Broncos had a pick six. I think Cooper Rush. I don't know if Cooper Rush threw it or not. I don't know. The Jets are already a disaster. Geno Smith's got a hurt ankle. Freaking Bailey Zappi's in there tonight, throwing horrible passes. Klubnik looked terrible. Garrett Wilson had a hell of a catch tonight. The Jets, there was this one play where Klubnik like faked a handoff, then like hesitated to throw the screen to Hall. Then he threw the screen to Hall, and like there was like 16 defenders that just tackled them right away. It was just a horrible, typical Jets play. And the Jets had their starters against the Tampa Bay backups to start the game. I mean, they didn't have Geno, but still, they still lost the game. So, I mean, just absolutely pathetic. Damon Claiborne for $1. Jamie, what's your thoughts on Damon Claiborne? Are you in on Damon? Baker for $2. Nice value there. I could deal with the chime sound, I think. It's a more pleasant sound. Rome Odunze. As my wife's trying to put my daughter to bed in the background.
Going once.
She's
going twice.
Screaming per usual.
Sold.
Got 2 older brothers. She likes to stay up with her brothers. Cooper Rush, he is horrible. Oh my God. Where is he throwing the ball there? Oh my God. So that's kind of, you know, it's the good thing about the Falcons is they have 2 quarterbacks, but the bad thing is they both get hurt a lot. So if, you know, if God forbid they have to go to Cooper Rush, it's all going to fall apart. Here comes Devontae Adams for $9, $10. His AAV here is listed as 16. So I'm doing a live auction in New York City.
Going once.
For NFFC live draft September. I was going to do another draft, and I bounced out of that over Labor Day weekend because I'm going to be with friends and family. I'm originally from Jersey, so I'm going to do that live draft.
Sold.
And then head down the shore in Jersey. So I bounced out of that draft, and then Tom told me that they had an open auction in New York, so I jumped into that. So I'm going to be doing quite a few of these so I can get into a rhythm. But the first ever fantasy football draft I ever did was an auction when I was 15 years old in 8th grade. So I was baptized into fantasy through auctions. So I feel like, I'm pretty comfortable here. I feel like I'm more comfortable than in redraft. I just
going once, going twice.
Craft for 9.
Sold.
So yeah, I like it. It's going to be exciting. So I'm going to be doing maybe 1 or 2 more of these live at least before we kick off the season. Here comes Scatabo. who is like a 4th, 5th round pick in
Going once.
fantasy this year.
Going twice. Going twice.
Jamie says, I hate ranking kicker and defense. I never play in those type of leagues.
Going
if I
once.
do, then I just use Hoff of my kicker guy and P as my DST. There you go. I'd rather have Jalen Warren over Price. I mean, Jalen Warren might catch 70, 80
Going
balls
once.
this year. With the way Rodgers dumped off to Kenny Gainwell last year. I mean, that was absolutely insane. It was the Kenny Gainwell.
Going
show.
once. Going
But I
twice.
think Pittman's going to help him because Pittman's going to, you know, I think they've been showing a good connection.
Going once.
Pittman.
Going
I
twice.
got to shut this off. It's just a little too loud.
Going once. Going twice.
Cam goes for 26, but the heck was I saying? Totally forgot. Jay Wimmer's in the chat. He was on the show last night. We were talking AFC West. Says live stream over 4 tonight, doing a cut line myself. Good luck in the cut line, man. Cut line, another nice format in the NFFC. A 10-team league. It starts as a best ball for the first 10 weeks, I believe, and then you start setting your lineups. So it's like a mix of best ball and redraft, which is different and kind of cool as well. Again, another tournament that the NFC has. So again, NFFC, check it out. This has been probably the most popular year for the NFFC with all the live streams. They joined with the FFWC, which is another high stakes tournament site. And so if you enter the prime time in the FFWC circa, they're big entries. But if you win both, you can win up to $1 million, which is crazy. And then for the first time ever, there is going to be $100,000 entry fee league, which is already filled, 12 teams. And that's going to be live in Las Vegas. It's going to be like the first 2 rounds are going to be like announced over basically like in Las Vegas, like in the streets. They got a UFC guy doing a big presentation. It's going to be at the Circus Swim. So, I mean, that's going to be huge. I think it's just going to catapult fantasy football and put it on the map even more. I think we might start seeing it on ESPN soon. Almost like the World Series of poker. I think you're going to see like the World Series of fantasy football soon. I really think it's going to come. I mean, that's just kind of where it's leading. I think that's where it's going to go. So, yeah, NFFC, lots of different formats to get into, many different entry points. So check it all out. All right, where are we at? Sam Laporta for $6. So I'm missing some nice values here. But again, there's a lot of tight ends here. I do like that value on Laporta. Very solid, very, very solid. And especially for a guy like me who, $67, which is a decent amount of money. But I actually have more money than most of these guys left here, but they have a lot more spots filled. Let's show that real quick, actually. Let's go back to the board here. So I have 3 spots. I have the least amount of guys, but I have the most money, but not by much. So I got to start filling up this board. Some guys have defenses and kickers too. So, obviously that helps. Trevion Henderson. Wow. Cheap for a guy that's going pretty high in drafts, $11. Interesting. And sometimes, that's the way these auctions go too. Like, people spend their money on other guys and, sometimes, some of these guys, they maybe the room is collectively down, or maybe the room doesn't have as much money. Maybe the room's not paying attention fully. And sometimes you get really good values on some guys. I got to get another running back here. So let's go back to yeah, we'll stick to that. I'll do a play-by-play on these picks as they're going. There's plenty of quarterbacks left. There's plenty of tight ends. I didn't get Joey Burrow stack. That's fine though. Again, I like Chase because if Burrow goes down, which happens a lot, you got Joey Flacco to back him up. If Burrow goes down, I mean, then I spend it on him. I got a backup, which I could do too, but I just feel like Chase and Higgins have that security a little bit. Okay, Tyler Warren. We just saw Laporta go for 6, and Warren is getting bumped up. Obviously, Warren, he's going like 5th round drafts, 6th round drafts. Sometimes the 4th could get bumped up at some point. With the Loveland, I'm more on par with Loveland, but you're seeing the $10, $11 more here than Laporta. Jamie says, I almost forgot to hit the like button. Hoping everybody hopping in that like button. Appreciate that, Jamie. I'm currently in 55 slow drafts on Underdog. Just looked and I'm on the clock in 7 leagues. It's like Christmas morning. That's awesome, man. I have never been a slow draft guy. But that's the way you do it. If you want to really fill up these Underdog leagues, get in a lot of these slow drafts. And it is kind of cool because it just kind of keeps you busy and keeps you excited and keeps you involved. I haven't done that many best ball. I would say probably about 25 total this year. If I can get to like 50, 60 by the end of the year, I think I'll be happy. I feel like at one point I'm going to be way more into best ball. And eventually, maybe one of these days I'll be all best ball. I mean, it is possible. I feel like the best ball life is pretty nice. You just draft, and then you don't have to do anything the rest of the year. Jay says, hate slow drafts in general, but especially this time of the year whenever it sits on the clock waiting for injuries. Yeah, I'm not a big slow. The problem with slow drafts, especially if I do a lot of those, I'm gonna be getting auto picked. I can handle like one slow draft at a time, maybe 2. I need a lot of time. One GQ Will says, 28 first for Devonta Smith. I'm rebuilding and no shot at competing. I don't know what the 28 class is, man, but I'd probably ask for a little bit more, to be honest. I think you got to get more than that. I would ask for a first and maybe a player or maybe another first or a second or something. I would ask for like 2 more picks. Always see if you can get more. All right, Stribling. I'm going to bid up on him. He might get hyped up a little bit here. I don't want to spend too much money here. I got to build this backfield out. I missed out on Brooks. Again, I'm doing a show here. I probably would have spent a little bit more on him. I can let Stribling go. It's fine. Even though I think he really could be a stud this year, but there's other guys I can get probably that are a little bit more secure. All right, let's call out Tony P and just get this done. Let's see if we get Tony P here, I guess. If not, we got some other guys here. All right, I'll take it. Tony P is my second running back for $7. $60 left, $45 max bid. Oh, Blake Corn for $5. Nice. Yeah. We took him for $6 too. The Smitty says, I'm in a keeper league redraft. Should I keep Olave for my 7th pick, Purdy for my 8th, Javonte Williams for my 11th, or Monty for my 6th? What's the format? Is it PPR? Is it 3 running back? Is it 2 running backs, 3 receivers? How many flex spots do you get? But based off this, I would probably say either Javonte or Olave would be my choice. Jay says I want a 27 first for Dev. Yeah, I agree with that as well. We got to get something more. So if it's going to be 28 first, maybe another player or a couple more picks, or a 27 first. But even if 27 first, I still think I would ask for a little bit more. See what you can get. No problem, man. Thanks for coming in. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, brother. Appreciate you. All right. We still don't have a quarterback, but there is plenty of quarterbacks here. We got 2 running backs, 2 receivers. We got plenty more to fill out. JK is kind of the last solidified starter in the backfield here. I'm going to take him for $10. So $50, 36 max bid. I kind of like where I'm at right now. I got to fill out this receiver room a little bit. I got to get a nice tight end or 2. But so far, so good. I like the build. Jordan Mason, I feel like he could be a little bit of a trap. I know he's lost some weight. He's getting some good camp reports. But I was in on him last year. I think I was a little bit deceived by the Shanahan system. But on the other hand, maybe I'm deceived by the way the Vikings offense looked last year because it was terrible. But I think the problem with Mason is, and maybe, him losing some weight kind of, counteracts that. But I think the problem with Mason is he's not like I don't know if he's built to be a full season ball carrier, So I think what happens with Mason is he kind of wears down and he's struggled with injuries. So he gets, he looks good for a couple games and then he starts to wear down and he looks very mid. So I don't trust him. I feel a lot more secure getting Dobbins. I feel like that's where the cliff jumps off after Dobbins. I'm not into Mason. I don't trust him. I think Aaron Jones obviously is the main guy there. Aaron Jones always gets hurt. If he, moves out of the way, then, Mason's got a good opportunity, but Mason's had good opportunities and he hasn't done much in the past. I don't really trust Kyler Murray. So, yeah, I don't really want Mason as my third running back. Maybe my fourth, but not my third. All right, shout out to Jamie. I'm going to bid up on Jeremy Bernard here. Jamie, do I go 4 on him here? We'll go 4 for Jamie here. All right. First share of Jeremy Bernard. Shout out to Jamie for that pick. Jamie and Jeremy. Jay says 27 are like gold right now. Part of that really depends on Superflex or not. I think they're a little overvalued in one quarterback, though. There's a lot of talent coming. Jamie says Stafford is an awesome top 5, 12 quarterback for cheap, paying outside the top 13 quarterbacks. And Jamie says, no, you got to get him for like $1. All right. Well, I spent 4. I think he's getting a little hype based off how he looked last night too. So his value may be going up a little bit. But I like the point you made about Pittman and DK. If he gets hurt, he can really step up. And Roman Wilson's there too, and he's got to be an Aaron Rodgers guy, and we've seen how that goes. If you're not an Aaron Rodgers guy, especially a lot of these rookies, it's tough for a lot of these rookies to work with Rodgers. So it probably is going to take an injury for him. Whatever. I'm having a little fun here. I got some money. There's still some guys I'm going to go after here. And it's different too because I don't really have any Bernard. So again, you want to spend your money. A lot of these guys you're gonna see they're gonna have $4, $5, $6, or they'll have like $15 left for like 2 spots, and they'll just blow their money on some random guy that doesn't deserve to get a $10 bid just to get rid of their money. So you don't ever want that to happen. Probably should have waited for Wilson to get bid out a little bit more, but if you get all right. I get Michael Wilson for 14, which he basically went like $7 over his AAV there. But I like him. So I don't mind paying up for a little bit for him. $32 now, $20 max bid for me. You got to bring this baby home. I still need a tight end and a quarterback. But again, those are the 2 positions that you can wait on the most in fantasy and make it work. Now you got to pick the right guys, but there's plenty of good names left on the board here to make it work. Yeah, definitely $1. Some of them probably won't even get bid up here. Some will go for a little bit more, every once in a while. This is Cornell Tate right here, $10. That's pretty nice. I like Tate for $4 cheaper, actually. That's pretty solid. Yep, I agree, man. That's a little bit wonky there. I think me and that other guy were both in on Wilson. I think, some of these guys might be watching this stream now that I put it here in the chat, and they kind of know what I'm going after. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're messing with me. They're bidding up on guys that I know I want. That could be part of it too. But hey, I'm trying to, build the channel a little bit. If whoever's watching, I appreciate you liking and subscribing. Drop a comment. We appreciate you hopping in tonight, and it's all fun here, man. George Kittle for $8 to Odell. George Kittle, expected back for week 1. All signs have been pretty positive. We'll see what kind of how he looks coming off an Achilles. He's a guy that really relies on his strength to dominate, breaking tackles, his blocking, his beast, his burst, his acceleration. So I think Kittle can make it work. Here's comes that pick six by Rush for Denver. I think there was like 2 or 3 pick sixes tonight in the preseason. It's always fun to watch a pick six. It's like one of the best plays in football to watch. Kyle Monungai for $4. Pretty nice value for the second running back there on the Bears. I mean, he's kind of getting shit on a little bit because he hasn't. I don't even know if he's in camp yet. And Jamie, Roman Wilson, man, I agree. I don't know what the hell happened, but even worse is Roschon Johnson, man. What happened there? Did he hit the freaking Ben Johnson? Oh, that was Barron with the pick six. Nice. Did he hit the Ben Johnson doghouse there? Roschon Johnson? I've lost so much sleep at night listening to your stream. My bad, man. I've been staying up. We had that tag team draft the other night. And we did our thing on Joe's channel. And we got a break after this round, so that'd be nice. We did our thing on our channel, and I went back and watched a lot of those streams. I think I was up to like 4 a.m. that night. And I've been messed up ever since that night. But last night I got some good sleep. So hopefully, I got to try to get in bed early tonight, even though it's a weekend, but it's already freaking 12:20. So it already is late, but I don't know. I'll probably be up to like 3 again tonight. Considering this draft's probably not going to end till 1:30, the earliest. Quitting. Oh, but maybe I can get the hell out of this draft early. Maybe I could just spend my money and get the hell out of here early. But I'll be in a dollar derby pretty soon, so it's not going to happen. That's the way I always end my drafts. I usually have like $7 for like 7 players, or like $5, $5, $6, $7 for like the rest of them players, and I'm just swinging around trying to get dollar guys at the end. Because you see how I started my draft with Bijan and Chase, so. He said Roschon died last year. I created a Roschon Johnson tribute song for his memorial. And his college tape was sound, man. He looked good. I was in on him too. Sometimes I feel like coaches shit on a player, or like something happens earlier in their career and they, a lot of it's mental too. So maybe some of these players lose confidence, or, they just stop believing in themselves. And I think that plays a big part, because like it just seems like some of these guys are so talented, and for the way that they don't produce in the NFL, it's like sometimes I think it's coaching and or like something mental going on. And then sometimes it's just they're just not cut out for the NFL, whether they grind in the NFL or they're just better college players than NFL players. All right. Kelsey going off now. Last couple picks here. You see Pittman for 9, or Mahomes for 3 here in round 10. Tesla for $1, Pittman for 9, Henry for $1, QJ for 12, Brian Thomas for 10. I'm getting Michael Wilson here. I spent $14 on him. That was interesting. I don't know what the hell happened there. Probably shouldn't have bid so much on him, but whatever. I like him. I like him actually more than some of these other guys that went anyway. So I don't care as much. Sometimes you got to spend up, and sometimes you get in some of these bidding wars, and you're gonna, if you like a player, you're gonna get into a bidding war and spend a little bit more than what you like. You can hold off, but if you want to get your guy, you got to go up sometimes. Look at Caleb for 4. Another nice value at quarterback. All right. So I have this tied for the most amount of money left. I have the second highest max bid, but I have the least amount of players on my roster. But I don't have a kicker or defense. So Godwin for 6. That's pretty nice. 7, 8. Okay, 8. I think Cortland Sutton might go for a real cheap price. Says 7 here, but actually he made a real sick catch tonight. So he might made like a sick one-handed catch. That's kind of what Cortland Sutton does. I mean, a couple of years ago when he had all those touchdowns, he was making a bunch of one-handed catches. All right, guys, we're going to have a quick break here, 10 minutes. I'm going to put some music on, and then I'll be back. I'm just going to grab a drink, and then we'll be back. I'm going to put the board up. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Guys, check out this board. Comment on anything that you think I should do different, or should have did different, or what I should go after. And I'll be back in 5 minutes.
It's the Metaphors Beats.
All right. We are back. There goes Kenneth Gainwell. I missed 3 guys. I missed Tank Bigsby, Harvey, and Jaden Reed. We'll do Gainwell for 4. It's fine. I didn't want any of those guys anyway. I had to make a couple drinks. Use the bathroom. Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina. My nephew did go there. This is finally his first opportunity. I mean, I've always been a Likely guy. Take him every single year. And the crazy part is I don't have any Likely this year anywhere. I had probably a couple best balls, but so I got to get some more Likely. This is his time. Finally gets free of playing behind Mark Andrews. Now, he's still got to prove himself. Jamie says, play the Roshan song. Got to be honest, my songs are way better than this. Send it to me, man. Jay Wimmer says, wake up, Stevie. I was a little late coming back there. Do they only do 1 break now instead of 2? I think they only do 1 break. That's it. Maybe they do another. Actually, I don't remember. This is my first auction. So this year, I don't know. They might do 1 more. I'm not sure. Let me ask Jeff. I think there's only 1. 10-round break there. Mike Washington. Talked about him earlier. He goes for $1. Very nice. Can't hit on that. It's pretty solid. You know what? I think I may need to bring Greg's voice back up just to help me with the going once, going twice here, even though it gets real annoying. Not Greg. Greg doesn't get annoying. It's the freaking ding at the end. All right, let's see how much Harry Fanning goes for here. Wow. Oh, that was a late sneak in there. I thought I had Harry Fanning for 5. But I get him for 7. All right. I like it. So, filling out this team. We need another receiver. Obviously, Jeremy Bernard is not going to be our 3rd receiver. Actually, I'm sorry. We have Michael Wilson. I don't know why they have Bernard over there. I guess I got Bernard first. That's why. But let's switch it. Let's switch it around real quick down here. There we go. We got Michael Wilson in the starting lineup. All right. Cortland Sutton, after that one-handed catch tonight, let's see where he goes. Makai Lemon's been crazy. This was the guy that was going like, 6th, 7th round. Now he's going like 10, 11, 12 because he's not been in camp. He's got a hammy. People, yeah, obviously, hammies are very scary. Let's take a look at the board again. Oh, we're on the board. Sorry. There goes Jimmy Connors for a buck. So these teams are starting to fill in here. Again, we got 10 reserve spots. Texans D. Oh, I'm bidding 2 on the Texans D. See if he bids 3. Nice. Take that. So I'm willing to bid $2 on a defense, maybe 3. Kickers, I still think $2 is kind of my max. I gotta shut Greg off in the dings. I can't. Just can't do it. Brock Purdy for $3. Very nice. Lemon's going for 3 here. That's I'll bring this back up. I think this is better for show purposes, honestly. This way you can see the bids. But you guys let me know what you think. Whether you like the board or I kind of like to switch it back and forth. Jim Delaney in the chat says, what was the drink of choice tonight? Leather. Jalen Hurts. $6. So, people run out of money here. I got a nominee here. Who am I throwing out? Let's throw out Dalton Kincaid. Who could be Josh Allen's number 1 guy. Now, we've been waiting for that Josh Allen stack with the receivers to work for years. It just continues to be a bunch of random names that he's spreading the ball around to, but they haven't had a one since Diggs, and now they're bringing DJ Moore. So, I'm kind of expecting the DJ Moore to kind of take the reins. But it could be Kincaid. I mean, Kincaid hasn't been healthy. He's had that PCL injury. They haven't really using him a lot. They take him out the game a lot. So this could be his year. They still have Shakir. They got Josh Palmer. So, Cook's supposed to catch more passes out of the backfield this year. But I think they might throw the ball more than ever this year, or more than in a long time. It's possible with McDermott out of the way, but maybe they stick to running the ball a lot too, like they did once Brady took over. But maybe there is a argument to say that McDermott kind of kept them a little bit more conservative too. All right, I got to get some quarterbacks here. Sorry, guys, I got to lock in and get some say a little bit more focus because I missed out on Shuck for $2 there. And still quarterbacks I can go out there though, and I got them here as you can see, so that's fine. A lot of good values though. I mean, you're seeing a ton of good values here. Lloyd for 4, Shuck for 2, Higgins for 5. So, a lot of good values here. I got to fill out my backfield a little bit more too. Let's go, Pat Bryant. A lot of hype on Pat Bryant. But I loved him as a rookie last year. I drafted him everywhere. I'm buying into the hype. Might take him maybe half the season, but there's an injury to Waddle, who's often injured. He steps up. I mean, even if they're all healthy, I think Pat Bryant could give you some good weeks. And there is a chance he could overstep Sutton. Maybe it doesn't happen this year, but it is possible. So I really believe in the talent, and I'll take him there. $4. But things are starting to pick up a little bit here. A lot of quick bids, a lot of, $3, $4, $5 players. We got $19 total, $10 max bid. Let's see if we can get KC here. Big fan of his. There's one big name at the receiver position. You see him at the top of the list. A guy that's going higher in drafts here. So his AAV is only $5, which isn't a lot. $15 for me. $7. There it is. There's Matthew Golden. Let's see what he goes for here. I get him $6. So $9 total, and max bid is $2. And I don't have a quarterback left. So we're gonna have to see what we can get a quarterback here. But again, there's a lot of names here. I still think I can make it work. I just got to get 2 of these guys here. So our receiver room is pretty well built out now, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 receivers. I'm good at receiver. Let's call Jared Goff out. I guess I should have bid 2 there. I didn't really expect him to get him for $1, but I don't even care. I don't really need to stack with JMO. It doesn't make a huge difference to me there. So yeah, I'm gonna be playing some Dollar Derby here soon. $9, $2 max bid. I only have 3 running backs, so I got to do some work there too. I still got to get a backup tight end. We'll make this work. Jeff says it's the only break. It's kind of what I figured. It used to be after round 6 and 13. I think last one I did was 2 years ago. Likely has Theo Johnson issue. Look at tape. Last year, Dart and Theo was a connection. Yeah, I'm not worried about Theo Johnson. I think they brought in Likely. You know, he has the history of Harbaugh. So yeah, you might be right. Jay says got to make the Genti owner spend 3 there. Good point. Nice value from Mike Washington. And Jamie said he sent me some songs. Fannon's mom said you should have spent more than 7 on him. You wasted 14 on Wilson. I don't think I wasted 14 on Wilson. I don't think he's going to end up being a waste, but you're right. I got a good value on Fannin there, $7. But I think that's kind of where he's going. He's going for like $7, $8 in these drafts for whatever reason. I feel like he should go a little bit higher, but Jamie says, do you prefer Christian Watson, Tate, or DJ? I want to score more. It's close between Moore and Watson. I think they're really close. I think I'd give more than nod and more upside just for the fact he's got Josh Allen compared to Jordan Love. And then Jamie says, I'm not an auction guy, but why would you pay 6 for Golden when you could have got Carnell Tate for 10? I got Wilson at 14, so I wasn't really even thinking about Tate at that point. I was kind of just, that's kind of how it is in auctions. It's like you're going to take some values on some things and, you're going to miss out on some good deals sometimes. That's just the way it is. You're going to have to spend your money in certain spots. So, I wanted to go after Wilson. I probably didn't need to spend that much. He was like, I guess $8 or $6 over his AAV. But again, I like him a lot and I believe in him. So I don't mind doing it. All right. So I'm not getting Jackson Dart. So let's see what I get at quarterback here. I might have hurt myself a little bit here at the quarterback position. But there's still some good names. If I can get 2 of these guys, I'll be okay. All right, so we get 1. Malik Willis. I mean, I could have tried to get him for $1, but I figured I'd just throw him for 2. Let's see if I can get Nick's Love Darnold for $1, or even, if I get Nick's Love or Darnold for $1, I'll be happy. And I'll probably try to get 1 more quarterback here and get 3 quarterbacks on this team. Ted Hurst for $1, Coker for $1, or Coker for 2. So yeah, there's a lot of good names here left. I mean, you got Shakir, you got McMillan, you got Shaheed, you got Trey Harris, Flournoy, Tank Dell, Cyrus Allen, Zachariah Branch. I don't know if Caleb Douglas went off. He had a sick catch tonight. And I got to get some more running backs. Another tight end. But I am officially in Dollar Derby now. So this is the least fun part of an auction, when you can't spend any more money. And you got to wait for your turn to get a guy. And then if somebody bids $2, you're asked out. Jamie says, get Bo Nix. Yeah, I'm probably going to call him up. If not, I'll take Love. I do have Golden. Or even Darnold. As long as I don't end up with, hey, maybe I go with Jacoby Brissett, baby. Boudet. Is there going to be a trade? We will see. The Patriots certainly have a lot of nice receivers. Aaron Jones, the last of the Mohicans as the starting running backs. If I went back, I probably would have cut out one of these receivers. Yeah, I probably should have went 4 on Jeremy Bernard, but I was trying to, give Jamie a little, go with the Jamie feel. But he said get him for $1, which he's probably right. But the Michael Wilson too, 14, and then Golden. I probably didn't need him. Or KC, I guess. So just one of those guys. I could have saved a little bit more money for another quarterback or another running back. But it's okay. There is some good names at the receiver position. These guys will probably go for $1. They don't have quite the upside. I guess Shaheed does, and McMillan stays healthy. Shakir, they're all three. No, they're all nice names there. Those first 4 guys. There goes Chig for $1. Not bad. I do need to get another tight end. There's some good names at the tight end position too, and I already have Harry Fannin. So again, Dollar Derby, and there goes Bo Nix, Jamie. So that's a wrap. So let's hope Galizio. Let's see what Galizio's got. I mean, he's only got one. He's got 3 quarterbacks. I don't know why he needs Lawrence, Daniels, and Dart. That doesn't make much sense, but he's not calling out a quarterback here, that's for sure. But hey, you never know. And Nix goes for 4 anyway, so even if I had a couple more bucks, probably wouldn't be able to get him. But I probably should. I should have got Shuck for 2, or Stafford. No, Stafford was a nice value too. He went for $1. All right, let's see if we get him for $1. Oh, Brill with the last second bid. And he's got 2 quarterbacks. Go ahead, take a 3rd quarterback. I'll sweat off my back. But hey, that's what happens at the Dollar Derby. You call out a dollar player, and then the guy bids $2, especially at the last second, and it's the absolute worst. Nobody is done yet. A lot more spots to fill out, so we're gonna have a lot of Dollar Derby here coming up soon. I didn't even realize I got freaking Fairbairn. I thought I had Texans D. Yeah, whatever. Fairbairn's a good kicker. I wouldn't have spent $2 on him though. I would have just let him go for $1. That's why Delaney was getting on me. Says, what was the drink of choice tonight, Leather? He was pissed I stole his kicker for $2. My bad, Delaney. I thought it was the defense. Oh, Jeff's in here. He says, sorry, I'm a Packer fan. I think he's going to have a great season. Yeah, I know, but you got 3 quarterbacks, man. Come on, man. You could have left them to me. You got two nice ones, too. And you waited to the last second. Next time, I'm not sharing this in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter, man. Appreciate you hopping in tonight. Jamie says he's not a fan of my overall team. It's all right, brother. I appreciate the honesty. You just don't like my quarterbacks. I like Malik, so. But I got to get a little more insurance here at the quarterback position. You want to stack in these tournaments, though. You know, you want to have that correlation when you get into the shootouts. I mean, you don't need it, but I kind of prefer it. But I'm not going to have anything here. Although I'll probably end up with one little minor stack here. Very minimal. All right, Sammy D, come on down for a buck. Super Bowl champ. Super Bowl MVP, right? Was he the Super Bowl MVP, Darnold? Pretty sure he was. So Jeff's saying part of this is defense too. Yeah, I get it. But if I wonder if you weren't listening, you would have still took him. Tell the truth now. It's all right though, man. I don't really see much difference between Darnold and Love. But you're right. I mean, if Love stays healthy, well, if his receivers all stay healthy, Kraft, Golden, Watson, Reed, and that hasn't happened in years. So, you're right. He could go back to that 30 touchdown season he had, a few years ago when he was stomping on the Cowboys in the playoffs. All right, we're going back to the board now. Gonna hide my queue over here. I'm showing you guys my queue. I'm talking about what guys I'm taking. I'm revealing it all tonight. I can't show you my queue now because I only have a buck left, so I can't even outbid you anymore. But we're moving at a good pace now. I mean, these guys are flying off pretty good. All right, so we're almost done here. We'll wrap this baby up. I got 6 spots to fill. 5 positional. I need a defense. Then we'll go over some of these teams. We're going to handcuff Bijan there with Brian Robinson because our backfield is not deep. That's only our 4th running back. We do have 3 starters in Bijan, Pollard, and J.K. But, get a little handcuff there. There you go. There goes Cyrus Allen, who I think that Reed's going to find creative ways to use him. I just don't think he's going to be able to really dominate. I might take him a couple years to be sting in the NFL. I think he's more of a dynasty play this year. I think best ball play. If you're chasing him in redraft, I think he's going to be hard to know when he's going to start. But this point of the draft, take him for a buck. You get a couple injuries to Worthy, maybe Rice. Something happens to Rice, and now all of a sudden he's got a bigger role. So there you go. I mean, I think he could definitely make plays, and Reed's going to find ways to use him. If there was ever an injury to Rice, and maybe Worthy's always getting hurt. He might. Yeah, it's now I think about. He could have a nice little role. I just think he's a little bit buried early on, and he might make a couple plays here and there in these games, but I think it's going to take a couple injuries for him to step up. But certainly a nice pick here at the end of the draft. Tajay Spears goes for $2. I was going to look for him too because I have Pollard. We saw Nick Singleton, the rookie, last night get blasted on pass protection. So that was not a good look. So good for Pollard and Spears owners. All right, so 4 more spots left to fill. Probably get one more quarterback. I got to get another tight end, another running back or two. I think I'm good at receiver. Actually, might be one more receiver I'm going to go after here. Do I call out this quarterback here, or do I call out this? I'm going to call out this tight end here. I like this kid. Could be the wide receiver 3 for the Rams this year. Take him for a buck. So everybody's got dollar max bid except for Bry here. He's almost done though. He gets Adonai. Another upside pick there. Jeff says he's going for the triple stack. The Fuhrer is taking the training wheels off this season. I hope so. I think you're right, man. I think it's time to take the training wheels off, spread it around a little bit. Now Love's going to be, he's going to be thrown off his back foot. That could get kind of scary, but I feel like, if those guys are healthy, man, I think that's what they got to do. Jacobs is about to be suspended. He's getting older. Yeah, I think you got to open up this offense. Darnold's inconsistent like Goff, putting up 10 games outside the 15, 20. Yeah, you're right. Wrap this baby up. That's what I should have done with my ex, says Jamie. I like Malik though, man. Do I really do I like, am I in love with my quarterback combo here? Not really. I definitely wanted to get either Dart or Shuck. Stafford, I was just talking too much, trying to make some content out of this. I did miss some bids. Things move fast. When you're in an auction, you really got to pay attention to every single pick. So, I'm trying to engage the chat. Let's see. And we'll go for Cam Ward for a buck. Hopefully Cam Ward could take a step up this year. That offensive line is supposed to be hideous once again. So a little bit of a stack there with him and Pollard, I guess. 2 spots left. Maybe one more tight end. No, I think we got to go. Jamie, give me a give me a sleeper running back, man, that hasn't been taken yet. Is there anybody out there? The list is pretty slim, brother, and I only have 4 backs. There's one guy here. There's a couple names, I guess. Actually, there's a name here that nobody's thinking of that might get some work this year. Yeah, I think I got to go. I got to take a shot on 2 running backs here. Two hours for this auction already. So this is about what they go. And DeMarcado for $1. Is it going to be Brashard Smith or DeMarcado? I don't know. I think DeMarcado might have a little bit of an edge there. There's a receiver that I really like that's still on the board. The running back I could probably get. Actually, there's 2 receivers here. The running back I can get in free agency. There's a tight end that I like too. It's gonna be interesting what I go with here. And that's what when you get 3 quarterbacks. Usually I only like to take 2 max, but my quarterbacks are not strong, so. All right, Brian Flores defense. Only 4 guys left here. Oh, Leather. Oh, I guess Leather's having some drinks. So Jim wasn't talking about me. I thought he was mad when I bit up on his kicker there. I thought he was saying I was drinking Leather tonight. Well, there's a guy named Leather. I didn't even see him in there in the corner. That settings button kind of blocking his name. AJ Barner getting the free look there for $1. NFFC, the first couple games, Wednesday and Friday. If those players pop off in those games, you can insert them in your lineup. If not, you could take them out. Or you don't have to put them in, rather. So you don't have to make that decision until Sunday, which is pretty cool. And there you go. Gunnar Helm as my last pick. I don't mind it. Little Cam Ward Gunnar Helm stack to finish off the draft. Hopefully Cam Ward could take a nice little step up this year. We'll see. Tate, Wandale, better coaching, you hope. But that offensive line is concerning. It certainly didn't look good in the preseason last night. But I don't think Cam cares. I just think he's just trying to make plays. It's kind of how he is. He's not trying to play too close to the cuff, I don't think. Just winging it around a little bit. Running back position is very, very slim. I mean, I have 5 running backs, which is kind of unusual for me. I usually get at least 6 or 7 sometimes, but I got 3 starters. I got Bijan. I got Bijan's backup. So I may have to work the waiver wire a little bit during the year. But let's talk about my team. This auction's still going off, a couple, minor spots going off. But so we start out with Bijan and Chase. It's half my salary right there. So at that point, it's going to be a little tricky to try to fill the rest of this team in. We go after JMO for 21 as my second receiver. Michael Wilson, again, his average auction value is about, I don't know, $8, I guess, $9. I think he's worth more than that. I like him. So I don't mind getting him for 14, but it would have helped maybe if I could have saved a couple bucks. Maybe got him for like 10. It would have helped me out at quarterback a little bit. Maybe getting, whether it was Shuck, Stafford. Honestly, Shuck went off while I was talking. I wasn't even paying attention. But Stafford, I could have got for like 2. I threw out Dart. I lost him. I could have got him maybe for like 4 or 5. But whatever. I end up Malik Willis for 2. I like him a lot. I'm a believer in him. Darnold is whatever. I could play matchups with him. And then if Cam Ward could, kind of take a big step up this year, again, another guy I could play matchups with. So it doesn't crush my team. I can make it work with these 3 guys. I'm not really worried about it. And then, we get Harry Fannin for $7, which I like a lot. And then I back him up with Ferguson for $1 and Gunnar Helm for $1. 2 high upside guys, 2 talented young tight ends that I like a lot. The rest of my backfield, I got Tony Pollard for 7, starter in Tennessee. J.K. Dobbins, 10. He could be in my flex if I want. Most likely will be in my flex to start the year. Obviously, he gets hurt a lot, but I still have the 2 other running backs. I got Bijan's Cuff and Brian Robinson. DeMarcado, we'll see if he ever does anything with the Chiefs. If not, I could pick up maybe Bashard Smith during the year. There's some other running backs that I was looking at that I could possibly, drop some fab on. So I'm not too concerned about it. We'll make it work. I like my starting 3 receivers. The backups I get, took a shot on Jeremy Bernard. Jamie was talking about how he likes him a lot. Again, Rodgers with rookie receivers is never usually a thing. But, Pittman could have injury. DK could have injury. He could step up. I kind of like what Jeremy was talking about. The dude's drinking like freaking cucumber juice, and he's taking good care of his body. He looks like a specimen, an Adonis. He showed out a little bit in the preseason last night as well. So between him, Stribling, and Ted Hurst, I think they all had really nice debuts in their first NFL games, even though it's a preseason game. Then we get Pat Bryant for 4, another guy with a lot of hype. I like a lot. I liked him, last year a ton. Just never really got the opportunity. But if you remember in that playoff game, he was kind of getting fed before he left the game with a concussion. Casey Concepcion, like him a lot. Matthew Golden for 6. Like him as well. So, I think the receiver room is pretty solid. I like the depth. I got seven receivers there, and I like it. Darnold, again, and Ward are my quarterbacks. We already talked about the tight ends. And I get Vikings D for $1, Brian Flores, and Texans. Yeah, so did get sniped there on Jordan Love for the, Golden connection. But, yeah, looking at Bry's team, Jeff's team, like he mentioned, he had Reed, and he said he had another Packer too. Where is it? Whatever. He's got the Reed Love combo there. Oh, triple stack with his quarterbacks. I see what he's saying. Herbert, McConkey, Shuck, Olave, and then Love, Reed. So, yeah, all good, my man. I appreciate you joining in tonight and watching, man. Thanks for hopping in the chat as well. That's it. Let me just that's it for my team. Let's look at the rest of the teams here. Earlier on, we were talking about what was the one team? Oh, Team 12. Yeah. I liked what he did with Amon-Ra, Puka, and then Allen, and then McBride. We kind of wanted to see how he finished his team up. Be honest, I don't really like the rest of the guys he got, but he's got 4 studs on his team. So McMillan starts to pop off. Harvey undervalued this year. He gets a nice role. Maybe Chuba. Maybe the Brooks thing doesn't really happen. I don't really like his tight ends other than after McBride, but he's got McBride, so he doesn't really need to worry about it. So I like the start. Don't really like the rest of the guys he filled in with. Team 11. He's got Achane, London, Lamb, and Javante. That's pretty strong. Quarterbacks are Nix and Goff. He gets Sutton for 8. Tank Dell for 3 is nice. Quinshawn for 16. Pittman for 9. Kelsey and Dulcich, not my favorite tight ends, but overall, I think it's a pretty, fairly solid. His bench receivers, I guess, could be a little bit strong, but I don't know. He's got 4 strong, pretty good receivers. I kind of like Cooper, even though he's kind of getting shit on a little bit. Dell for 3, I think he's going to be a thing. And then, his running backs, again, like Mason's his 4th, which I said I kind of liked. And he's got Tracy who could have a role. So I think he did a pretty good job. And again, the good thing about all these guys is everybody spent their money except for Glazio had $1 left. But everybody spent their money, which is good. I don't know if there was any guys that had some money left and bid big at the end for some, waste their money on a player at the end. But I think most of these guys had like $1 or 2 left. So I think everybody was pretty good with their money. Bry. Jeff, who was in the show with us tonight. Again, we talked about his team. He got 3 quarterbacks. Again, I don't know if you need to go with the triple stack, especially, you got Herbert and Shuck. I think you could stop there, but he is a Packers fan. He mentioned he was playing a little bit of defense on me because I only had, I was talking about I need another quarterback, so that's fine. I'd rather have him on this show than anything and supporting the show. But he does a good job. I mean, 4 nice running backs. That's all he's got at running back. He's got the New England backfield, so he's got 5 running backs. Yeah, I think it's solid. I don't think he really needs to get any more running backs. He's got 5 guys there. And then his quarterbacks, he's got, if one of those guys busts, he could just cut him and pick something else up because he's got 3 strong ones to start the season. And then you get McConkey, Olave, Reed to go with Bowers. Yeah, good team. Higgins, Shaheed, Cyrus, all good picks, man. Very solid. I don't really have any qualms about that. Team 9, Jackson only gets 1 quarterback. All right. I mean, that's not a huge deal. I mean, Rodgers is still out there. Brissett, Mendoza gets a job at some point. So I don't hate it. Gets Genty, Kyron, Neighbors, DJ Moore, McLaurin, Laporta, Corum, Lloyd, Washington, Mitchell, Jacoby Lane, Hurst, Coker. Yeah, a lot of good picks. Tate. I think he built it pretty strong here. I like it. We talked about my team, Team 7, Trevor Lawrence, Daniels, Dart. Again, another team with 3 quarterbacks. Again, I don't think you need to take 3, especially when you already have Lawrence and Daniels. But again, like, maybe Jeff said, maybe these guys were trying to take quarterbacks away from me. I don't know. Because I was bidding on Dart and he bid up. So that's possible. But anyway, he gets Chase Brown and Love, Parker, Garrett, Marv, Loveland, Stribling, Thomas. Yeah. His running backs after the first 2, though, I mean, Pirine, Marks, Algier, Black, Allen. It's not great. He really doesn't have any, I guess Algier's not bad. He's going to have a role. Marks is going to have a role. So Piron, whatever. He shouldn't really have a role, but, Burrow likes him. He's a veteran. So, yeah, I think he can make it work. His receivers are solid. Only has 5 receivers. I'm sorry, 6 receivers. He's got Denzel Boston. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, one less quarterback, maybe another running back, but fine. Again, solid team. A lot of good picks there. Team 6, Mahomes and Murray. Okay. I can't really say anything about his quarterbacks. Mine aren't the best. Taylor and Mahomes, certainly, he's a great value this year. For Mahomes for $3. I mean, could have a nice year. I don't really like Murray. Taylor and Barkley is the combo, and Jefferson, Higgins, Evans, Dunze. So that's solid. After Taylor and Barkley, he only gets Dowdle, Blue, and McGowan. So I don't really like that. Doesn't really have a good, strong third, but I guess he's betting on Dowdle and Blue to have a nice role. We saw Nick Singleton get blown up last night. Seth McGowan, he's playing, alongside Taylor, but Giddens was there. I don't know, so who knows about him? Tight ends, Kincaid, Schultz, Barner. Again, Barner, you get the free look. His first 4 receivers are very strong. Malik, Bateman, Hunter, not terrible. Team 5, Burrow and Purdy. Nice quarterback combo there. McCaffrey, Montgomery, Zay, Waddle, Tet, Quentin, nice, Likely, and Chig, and then Tonjes. He also adds Swift to the backfield. Very nice. So he's got 3 strong running backs there, which I like to do. He gets Tank and Tucker, so I like that as well. He also adds Dobbs and Tyson to the receiver room. Very nice. Trey Tucker's not a bad pick. See, I think he did a good job. Team 4, Dak, Cook, Warren, Pickens, Jackson, JSN, Devontae, Alec Pierce, Wandale. So he's got, and then he gets Addison, Naylor, Wicks. So I like all those picks there. He gets Kenny Gainwell in the backfield there, Chris Rodriguez, JSM, Aaron Jones, solid. And then he's got Stafford and Dak. So tight ends are Ferguson and Henry, not the best tight ends. So, not sometimes you're going to have you're not going to be strong at every single position. So tight end is his weakness there. But I think he's good everywhere else. I mean, it's pretty solid. And when we come back, we'll try to talk about like the studs on each team, how many studs on each team, potential studs. Team 3, Drake May, Caleb, nice combo. Then he gets Kenny and Cam Brooks. Nice trio of 3 trio of running. I think it's Rashad White, Halani, Jonah Coleman. Then he gets AJ Brown, Watson, Metcalf, Worthy, Downs, Judy, Pitts, and Andrews, and Jawan. So he's good there. A good team. Team 2, Baker, Daniel Jones. Okay, not my favorite quarterback room, but you could argue it's better than mine, I guess. Hampton and Tootin, Rudy Tootie, Fresh and Fruity, Reishi, Abuka, Burden, Kraft, Warren. And he gets Tesla, Jacoby, Boutte. Kraft and Warren is a nice combo at tight end, so he could put one of those guys in his flex, as you see there. Gets Monungai for 4. His 3 receivers are solid, but you got Burden out a month. That could be kind of risky. I guess Myers is not a bad backup, but I don't know. A little weak at depth at receiver there. The running back depth isn't great either. I mean, Monungai, I guess he's not a bad 3rd running back, but the rest of the guys are, who knows, Connor, they're all dollar guys. The quarterback room isn't the strongest, but the tight end room is really strong. And their back, two and could be a little bit of a risk too. If Rodriguez has a bigger role than anticipated. And then team one, Stroud and Hurts. Again, I would expect to start Hurts all year. I can't trust CJ Stroud as a fantasy quarterback. Gibbs and Henry, nice combo. The rest of his running backs, though, Claiborne, Charbonnet. I guess Kamara spears out. Yeah. Kamara, I mean, it's all right. Doesn't really have a strong third running back. I guess he's going to need Charbonnet to come back healthy at some point and hope that, Gibbs and Henry stay healthy. Then he gets Nico, Devonta, Diggs, Godwin, Kittle, who's, then he gets Goddard, though. That helps with Kittle. He gets Lemon for 4, which is nice. So, yeah, I think he can make this receiving room work. He's just going to need Godwin to have a nice year. So there you have it. And then we'll work the other way. So let's look at the studs on each team. How many? Team one's got one potential. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess you can call Kittle a stud. So maybe potential 5 studs there. I guess you could say Godwin could be a stud. So maybe 6. Team 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess he could have 7 studs there. So we'll give the advantage to team 2 over team 1. Team 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe 7 studs there. Team 4, 1, 2, 3. Could you call Pierce a stud? Maybe if he comes back healthy and goes nuts and lives up to that contract. So maybe we'll say 3.5. So yeah, take team 2 and team 3 over team 4 here as far as studs. Team 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Team 6, 1, 2, 3. Higgins will probably need Chase to get out of the way, but he can still be a stud. 4. Evans 5. Kincaid could be a stud. 6. So Dunze could be a stud. He becomes the number 1 there. 7. All right, so team 6, team 2, team 3 leading the way. Team 7. Can Lawrence be a stud at quarterback? I guess you could say it. I'll give him a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stribling 7, 7.5 there. I'll give him an 8 because he's got 3 quarterbacks that could all potentially blow out. Again, I don't really like the depth at his running back position, but again, I think he can make it work. And then my team, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. So, but again, I kind of have 2 serious studs. So maybe I'll give myself a 5.5, 6 with Bijan and Chase there. Hey, maybe Malik Willis turns into a fantasy stud at least. So I'll give it a 6. Team 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Team 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Team 11, 1, 2, 3. Even though I like his build, but I don't think he has a lot of studs here. I mean, Achane, London, Lamb, nobody really else I don't think could really become a stud there. I mean, Javonte he's more like a half, I guess. Quinshawn could be a half. I gotta give some of these guys halves too, but I would say maybe 4, 4.5. And then team 12, 1, 2, 3 for sure. Maybe 4 with these 2 with 3.5 with Bucky, maybe if he gets back to his rookie year type numbers. And that's it. So, I think team 2, team 3, I think I said 7. I think there was one other one. I'm around 6. So, we'll see how it all plays out. Got to stay healthy. The team builds, everything's got to flow right. Yeah. But I kind of like what I did. This was my first auction of the year. I'm going to be doing more of these. Again, I got a, big draft in New York City in September, Labor Day weekend. So I'm going to get prepped for these. Maybe I'll do one or two more of these live, but I'm going to probably try to jump into like 5 of these before I get over to New York. So we'll see what other kind of builds we do here. My quarterbacks, Malik, Darnold, and Ward, not my preferred combo. I don't mind having Malik, but I like to have a stronger quarterback over him. And like Darnold and Ward are kind of like the same. I kind of like to get like a Shuck or a Dark with him. If I can, or like a Purdy, like Stafford would have been okay. But again, I think I can make it work. It's fine. And my running back depth isn't the greatest either. So, but again, I think I can make it work. I think, as long as you're grinding the waiver wire, staying ahead of the waiver wire, you can make it all work. But that's going to be it, guys. 1:30 in the morning here. We'll wrap up with the chat here. Jeff says, will you be out in Vegas? No, I won't, man. Maybe next year. I'm going to New York this year. So I've never been out to Vegas or New York for a live draft. I've been to Vegas a bunch of times, but never for a live draft. I haven't been there since 2019, but I'm thinking about going next year. So it's going to probably be one or the other because I have to fly I'm living in Florida now. I'm originally from Jersey, so I've been in New York a million times, but never for a live draft. I actually haven't done a live draft probably in person, probably in like, I would say about 6-7 years. So it's been a while. Obviously I started, doing live drafts, and then there was one league that I was doing with actually Rob DiPietro used to run it. He's a dead pull hitter on X, big fantasy baseball guy. He used to do a live football draft at his house all the time. I think he stopped like the last couple of years because he was doing fantasy baseball. I think the last year was maybe like 2018, maybe 2019. And then I haven't done a live draft since then. So that'll be interesting. But good luck to you, man, if you're going out there. That's going to be awesome. Jeff says so many of these guys won't last your team anyway. A third quarterback is likely to stay on your team at least. It's true, man. You're right. You're going to be cutting a lot of these guys. The 3 quarterbacks you got are very solid. Like I said, if one of them sucks or gets hurt, you could always cut them, and you got good depth there. Jeff says, I bet Cam starts more games than your other 2 guys. Willis is great, but I don't think he get hurt. He had a hard time getting through games last year. Yeah, you should know, man. You're a Packers fan. Actually, Jeff, I don't know what you think about this, but this is kind of a bold take, but I kind of think they should. I think Willis is better than Love personally, or has more upside than Love, rather. Maybe he's not better now, and obviously he loses going from LaFleur to Miami, and leaving out Watson and Jaden Reed and Kraft. He had a great situation there. He doesn't really have much weapons around him. I don't know. If I was, they already paid Love and everything, but I understand they were kind of in a tough position. How are you going to pay Willis and keep Love at the same time? But I really feel like I think Willis could end up having a better career than Love. I really like him. I liked him a lot coming out as a rookie, and then he looked terrible on the Titans. He looked like he needed to grow, and LaFleur really helped him out a lot. And he was good. He was great when he came in, but we'll see. Tyler says, can I get your thoughts on the team I drafted tonight? What team were you, man? I went through all the teams, but let me know what team you were. Let me just look at the board again. Tyler. Shooter. Yeah, I don't see, man. What team were you here? Let me know. I'll leave some last comments. If not, I went through it already. But I appreciate you guys, man. Again, I'll be doing some more of these, a couple more auctions before the season starts. We got NFFC OCs. I might do an NFFC best ball. We're going to do some prime times. Gladiator draft. I think I'm going to do that next week. I got a lot of stuff that I want to do. Obviously I'm not gonna be able to fit it all in. I still got to do a couple more FFPCs. They got some interesting tournaments. They have a Terminator tournament where it's like best ball, but you got to cut a guy every single week. May do that live, and then they got this other thing where you could draft against the computer. You're drafting against AI basically. It's called Player One. I thought that was kind of cool. So basically, you sign up for the draft. I think it's 35 through like 150 entry fee, and then I think it starts right away, and you're drafting against AI, which is crazy, and you could win the league, which is nuts. So, and it's best ball. I thought that was kind of cool. So I think that's new this year. And then RT Sports, I think they do a good job. I want to try to do one or two of their Fantasy Life Championships. I actually tried to sign up for one the other night, but I couldn't get in. FFWC, I always did those. I actually did pretty well the past couple of years. I finished top 20 in their Circa Las Vegas Championship, which they don't have anymore. I think they got rid of it since they moved to NFFC. They just have their bigger, primetime entry level tournament now. And again, if you win both of those, the primetime and the Circa, you win $1 million, which is crazy. But big things for the NFFC this year, man. And between the $100,000 draft that they're going to have, that's going to be cool as hell to watch that live stream. That's August 28th, I think. That's going to be such a great league to follow all year and see who wins that. I mean, that's the ultimate bragging rights. And again, I think that's going to catapult high stakes to the next level. And more people are going to jump out of home leagues and start jumping into these, high stake tournaments. And because there's a lot of good drafters out there all over the country. And even I think fantasy football is going global, soon too. So it is already. So, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So appreciate everybody tonight. 2 hours and 40 minutes here on Friday night. We're into Saturday morning now. This is a good night to do it. A good night to do an auction, 11 p.m. start. But that's it. If you missed the show live, you look at the teams later, drop a comment below, and we'll respond. Appreciate everybody. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. We'll see you in more drafts soon.